From the heart of Wayne County, this is Wayne Goldsboro Television, Goldsboro, North Carolina.
Today is Wednesday. It is the 17th of August, 2016, and this is Wayne Goldsboro Television. I'm Wayne Alley.
And I'm Kate Daniels.
And oh boy, here we are, the middle of the week already, and everything's funny. Right? Elvis will be here Friday night, the 19th. Elvis will be here. That would be Stephen Freeman. He is a tribute artist, tribute to Elvis Presley. You remember him? Stephen's been here several times.
Yes.
And done a fantastic job helping to kick off the United Way of Wayne County campaign each year. And this year will be no difference. Well, yeah, it will be different.
It will be.
Year.
He's bringing friends.
Bringing friends with him. Yeah, tribute artists of Patsy Cline, Tina Turner, the Beatles. You remember when they used to say that?
Yeah.
Here they are, the Beatles. Right. Might and all that. And also, and one other. Kenny Rogers.
Oh, good old Kenny.
Good old Kenny, that's right. But, and there's somebody else too. Kenny Rogers, and there's one other, and I can't remember who it is.
You said them all.
No, but somebody's been added.
Oh, not on the press release.
Not on the press release, not on the news release.
Well, you'll just have to get your tickets and come on out and see who it is.
Find out who it is. That's exactly right. That's Friday night at the Paramount Theater. Tickets are available online now, GoldsboroParamount.com. Tickets vary in price, I guess. But GoldsboroParamount.com. And if you want to call, you can call 919-583-8432.
And they do have a VIP reception that they do an hour before the show. Yeah. And the ticket prices are not that much more. It's a very minimal difference. And you get to see Elvis up close and personal and get your photo taken with him. We shared the other week on the show when I was talking about him that the first year that I saw him, I mean, he doesn't look real. I mean, his skin, it doesn't look real. He looks like Elvis Presley. It's wild. He does.
His skin, it doesn't have real skin?
No, it doesn't look real.
No, it doesn't look real.
Perfect, yeah. I wonder what he puts on his face.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. But he's a nice guy.
He's a great guy. And,
Steve's a nice guy.
To a T, he nails them.
He does. Now, he does do it, and he has won awards nationally for his tribute to Elvis.
That's right.
Okay. Adult coloring. Have you tried that?
Yes.
You like it?
It's like therapy.
Yeah, it's like therapy. That's what people are saying.
It's very therapeutic.
And there are classes being offered at the Senior Center. Adult coloring. The latest artistic craze is coloring books for adults. Adult coloring books have more intricate designs and patterns than those designed for children. They offer a fun and unique way to unwind and express creativity. Coloring clubs are sprouting up all over the U.S. as a way for adults to relax, those who could use a creative outlet. If you're curious about this new trend, join the Senior Center for stress-free and relaxing coloring sessions every Wednesday at 4 p.m. Every Wednesday at 4 p.m. at the Senior Center on East Ash Street. Drop in to do some coloring and with provided sheets and coloring materials, or you can actually bring your own. Interesting. More information, you can call Paula, 919-705 something. Oh, 1785. 705-1785. There you go. Do-die.
Do-die.
Do-da-da-do-die. Ah. This is August, right?
Yes.
You have just less than 2 months to start, or rather to end. The deadline is less than 2 months to register to vote. Now, early voting begins on the 20th of October, but you know what? This may be outdated. This may be outdated because the laws have changed. Anyway, let's throw this out.
Throw that out.
I'll get a new one. Okay.
We'll get a new one and update you, but in the meantime, you can contact them for more information or look online.
That's right. Board of Elections, 919-731-1411. What I was going to say was that the early voting has been extended back to its original date, back to its original number of days. From October 20th to November 5th, you can actually vote in this election. Early voting begins October 20th, and to get more information about that, you simply call the 919-731-1411 number, 731-1411. And they can tell you where the voting places are for early voting. You can go online to waynegov.com/BOE, Board of Elections, BOE, waynegov.com/BOE, and you can find where you can vote early on that site. Okay?
Very good.
Very good.
Very good.
Let's see what else we have here. There we go, right there. Okay.
Okay,
So
okay.
we're going to go to our program, our interview that's coming up next on Wayne Goldsboro Television. Yay! Health Department Director Davin Madden's our guest today, and Davin, thanks for being with us.
My pleasure, Wayne.
How you doing? You know, there's a lot of concern in the news here of late about this Zika virus that's going. Apparently, it's creating some major problems. They say that in the Caribbean, the 1 out of 2 or 3 or 4 people are going to be affected by it, and of course, it's moving on into the Florida area. And I understand that now in North Carolina, we have actually had some people who have contracted the virus. So tell me about, describe it, what is it, and can we protect ourselves? How serious is it?
Okay. Well, you know, Zika is a vector-borne virus that's transmitted via mosquitoes, and it's very similar to things that we have talked about in the past, like the West Nile and the dengue fever and the chikungunya fever. And the common mosquito that transmits Zika is the Aedes aegypti and Aedes albopictus mosquitoes, which we do have here in eastern North Carolina.
Now, how do they differ from other mosquitoes?
Well, like for example, the Aedes albopictus is what we probably see most around our yard, and it's the little black mosquito with the little white stripes underneath it. It's called like an Asian tiger mosquito.
A little small.
Yeah, little small mosquito, and it's usually kind of a localized mosquito that usually most people, if you have standing water in your area, and these mosquitoes, just because you have them, it doesn't mean that they actually are infected with Zika virus.
Right.
But these are the ones that carry it, so that's where the alarm comes in. The thing about the Zika virus is the fact of the damage it can do. Only about usually 1 in 5 people that are infected actually show symptoms.
1 in 5?
Yeah, 1 in 5 actually show symptoms.
But those others still have it?
They could be infected with the Zika virus, correct.
Okay.
And of course, the concern of that with the infection rate, along with the fact that could be asymptomatic, is the fact that, of course, where the impact is on the Zika virus with pregnant women or women that are in the process of thinking about being pregnant. Because if they contract the virus either just prior to becoming pregnant or while pregnant, then we know that it can cause severe birth defects in the unborn child. The actual thing that's the most concerning is the microcephaly, which is the small head condition, which can be very damaging to the child's health and well-being and quality of life. But yeah, the thing about it is we've had about 33 cases, as I know from the recent reports in North Carolina.
In this state alone,
Yes.
North Carolina, 33 cases.
But none were contracted here. They were travel-related cases where people had left the state and visited areas where Zika was prevalent, or where they came in contact with someone else who had been exposed to Zika virus and was transmitted, and then they came back into the state.
Now that brings up the question: is it contagious?
Well, no, not exactly. You can. Well, when I say that,
What exactly do you mean?
well, it can be transmitted via intercourse.
Okay.
And that's one thing that's unusual about this virus, as far as how this mosquito-borne virus is transmitted.
So it could be treated as an STD.
Well, effectively, it could be a viral transmission. So it could be, yes, it is sexually transmitted, and it is a disease. So yes, but that's what makes this a little unique. So people need to take proper precautions again if they're been exposed to people who have had travel history in areas where there have infection rates, and so it is contagious in that sense. But typically from coughing, and you have rash, and your symptoms are fever and headache and joint pain and muscle pain and malaise, fatigue But as far as just coughing and somebody catching Zika,
airborne?
No.
No. Okay. So would you compare it or say it's much like a flu-like symptom, or?
Yeah. You're gonna have some of those flu-like symptoms, like I said, the headache and the joint pain and the being tired.
Right.
There could be a rash, and another thing that's common with it is the conjunctivitis, the red eyes. So that's one of the common symptoms if you have a Zika infection. And the thing about it can last anywhere from a couple of days to a week. The symptoms once you start having them, but just like with any virus, it has we call it a shedding effect. It's like after you may no longer show symptoms, you can still be shedding the virus. But see, again, in Zika though, it's not contagious that way, so we don't have to worry about that.
Okay.
So like I said, the main thing is the problem is the mosquitoes biting the person who's infected. That's where the kind of a quasi shedding, if you will, concern would be. So even though you're no longer symptomatic, you may still have the viral load in your body for several days after you have to start getting better, and then the mosquito, of course, comes and bites you. They could pick up the virus.
They could get it from you,
and they transmit it.
And then they transmit it to someone else.
Where unlike a flu symptom, that virus can be contact. So you could be shedding flu virus, after you showed symptoms to it,
and infect somebody else.
Exactly.
That's interesting that the mosquito can actually get the virus from the human, and pick it up and transmit it to someone else.
Right. It's a bloodborne or vector-borne, and that's what it is. The mosquito bites an infected person and then transmits it to something else.
Otherwise, the mosquitoes moving in from the south, Florida, Georgia.
Well, you got, like I said, that's what we were talking about before we came on camera, about the type of mosquitoes. The Aedes aegypti and the Aedes albopictus. They're not these big migratory mosquitoes. They're local mosquitoes. They don't have a travel radius or a travel distance, usually over maybe about 100, sometimes 1,500 feet over the course of several days. So they're not like they're really moving from large regions. These are usually local mosquitoes. They're low ground flying mosquitoes.
I'm real curious about the name, Aegypti.
I really don't know where the origin is on it.
Well, everyone knows Egypt's in North Africa.
It's the designation.
Yeah, so I wondered if it had started there, or if so, how did it get to the Caribbean?
Oh, well.
Well, we don't know that, do we?
Well, I guess it's just like, diseases. There's a lot of diseases have been first identified in other continents that we have here, and usually it's through the vectors. Like we looked at the plague came across through the rats.
That's true.
So a lot of different ways that these diseases, these viruses, and these bacteria migrate, across these vectors or these hosts.
Interesting.
And that's what makes it just something that we need to be cautious about. But it's always like we talk about. We haven't had a natural case here in North Carolina yet, and hopefully we will not.
And by natural, you mean one that is someone who is infected from a mosquito
From a mosquito
bite.
here, correct. Right. The thing is it's always tragic when we see these cases, especially the type of birth defects we're seeing in Brazil and places like that. But it's always a benefit to the public health side of awareness for people, because these things remind people that you don't know what's out there sometimes, what new virus that's going to pick up momentum and start infiltrating into the population. Things that we don't even know of yet are things that we've seen, maybe some small cluster cases, but all of a sudden now you see it rampant. And we saw that with Ebola, something we thought that was pretty much almost gone from the Western world.
Completely eradicated.
Just eradicated from the Western world. Now you still saw cases annually in Africa, but you didn't see widespread cases. And all of a sudden this thing blooms, and you have several regions in the country that have high populations
Mm-hmm.
of infected, and then of course we actually get cases from travel
Right.
related cases back to the United States. So it keeps us alert and keeps us vigilant, you know. And let's talk a little bit about mosquito protection.
Let's do that.
Just like with everything, it's the same. You know, the toss and tip philosophy. Don't let standing water and containers that have water in your home or your yard remain, especially with all this rain we've had. You know, keep those containers empty unless it's a naturally intended container, like a bird bath or something.
A bird bath, you don't want to keep it empty, but you want to refresh the water.
Keep it clean.
Empty the water and then pour new water
that's
in
right.
for the birds. Flower pots?
Yeah, well, you know, with this kind of heat, they're not going to stay too full of water for much. But yeah, if you don't have the ones that have the natural drainage hole around them, then yeah, you want to make sure they're not staying saturated or flooded in water.
In fact, I've seen tires around houses, and tires are terrible about collecting water.
Yes. And then more and more containers that people, because more and more people are, you know, they're putting in yard decorations, and of course children toys that has, you know, the ability to hold water. All these things can hold. And then of course there's certain things people can't deal a lot with, and that's their ditches around their home, their natural drainage areas. Especially after heavy rains, they'll have some standing water sometimes, and you can't do a lot about that as far as because you certainly can't tip it out. But you know, there are some precautions that people, if you're willing to, that you can purchase mosquito dunks, and it's the little larvicide tab that can go in the water, and it does help to mitigate some of the growth of the mosquito population.
And they do not hurt, affect, or harm other animals.
No, shouldn't.
No, they do not. And in fact, you can get these at any store, retail store,
Yeah,
hardware store,
Yeah, you
retail
should be able
store.
anywhere that can usually carries pest management with supplies. Usually they'll have mosquito dunks. And we talked a little bit about spraying. You know, there's always a concern from the public to spray for mosquitoes. But the thing about spraying is very expensive. And there's the data, even though we've been spraying across the country for years, the data are still sometimes back and forth about how effective spraying is, because there's a lot of factors that come into the spraying about, you know, the wind speed.
Right.
And like I said, some mosquitoes are low flying and they're only really active at dusk and dawn.
Right.
So, you know, and then if you've got mosquitoes in your backyard, spraying down the front of your road is not going to do anything for the mosquito population in the backyard, because that spray dispersal only has a limited area that it covers, and spraying is what they call a contact poison.
Right.
So if it lands on mosquitoes, it kills them. But if it lands on the ground and the mosquito
Doesn't
flies
do any
over
good.
it later, it's
Yeah.
not usually going to do anything.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Well, speaking of spraying, what about these sprays that you apply to yourself? These the off and things like that.
yeah, they vary with people, but you know, they are effective. You know, my recommendation to all people is, you know, use what you feel comfortable with. Always read the instructions, so properly apply it, especially if you're dealing with small children. You know, make sure that you don't put too much on their skin and too much around, of course, their eyes and mouth and things like that.
A lot of these products contain DEET, and some people are concerned about the effectiveness, not the effectiveness, but about how
Toxicity.
the toxicity of DEET.
Yeah, and you know, it's something we stay conscious about from my end. But you know, as far as the safety labels go, you know, we just recommend that people adhere to that.
Follow directions.
The most common sense thing, though, is, like I said, it's a tip and toss process of taking effort, but also when you're outside especially during those hours of high mosquito activity, is to wear long sleeves and cover most of your skin, because the more skin you have covered, the less chance you're going to get an exposure to just a mosquito bite.
And I believe you said that most mosquitoes will be most active in the morning hours and the evening hours.
Yeah, dusk and dawn hours is when a lot of times they're the most
around
active.
sunrise and around sundown. Now they can bite you anytime.
Oh, absolutely.
But that's when they're most active.
And most of the cases, I think, that we've seen with the Zika transmission actually happen during daylight time.
Okay, very good. Anybody who has any questions, there's a ton of research on this on the internet.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, go to reputable sites. You know, the CDC and other sites. You know, that carry legitimate information on Zika. You can read up on you know, some of the. If you want to get really in depth into the serum testing and how they determine if the virus, if it's active, you can get into that and read all about that. You can read about the different exposure levels and symptoms and things like that.
For the most part, we're pretty safe, though, are we not?
Yeah, I mean, this is like it's just kind of like it was a while back when we're dealing with the West Nile. The unfortunate side of the thing about the Zika, like I was saying earlier, the big thing is if you're pregnant or you intend to be pregnant, you just need to be really cautious. Or if you're around someone and you're going to travel into an area that has already has reported Zika cases, and you're planning on being around someone who intends to be pregnant or is pregnant, you may either rethink that or be really cautious, because, like I said, the unfortunate thing here is the birth defect side of Zika is just really what's tragic. So there is a high risk there, but the main thing is use good common sense. Don't travel to Zika reported areas if you want to be around someone, like I said, and just be cautious.
All right. Davin Madden, Health Director for Wayne County, and I appreciate you being here.
Thank you, Wayne.
Thank you, sir. And we are back on Wayne Goldsboro Television, today being Wednesday, the middle of the week already. Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Before we get to our trivia and today's special, because, what is that right there?
What is that?
What's that?
We have just recently announced the annual end of session legislative update breakfast is coming up very soon.
Oh.
It's going to take place on Wednesday, August 31st. We're going to be at Lane Tree from 8 to 9:30. We do 2 legislative breakfasts a year. One right before our legislators go back into session, and then one at the end of it where they can talk about, okay, here's what was accomplished, here's what we didn't shake out the way we wanted it, here's what's on the forefront coming up. So we've got that coming up very soon with your 5 legislators. Senator Lewis Pate, Senator Don Davis, Representative Jimmy Dixon, Representative John Bell, and Representative Larry Bell. Now, new to the lineup this year, we are going to welcome the North Carolina State Budget Director, Andrew Heath.
Oh.
So this is a kind of a neat twist on it. How cool will it be for you and the community to come out and be a part of the discussion, hearing from the state budget director. He's going to give an overview of how the budget that was recently announced, how all that shook out, and we're going to let our legislators come in and talk about what they were pleased with, what they want to see happen in the coming session and all that. So we're taking it, not only bringing your legislators in the same room at the same time for important discussions, but we're also bringing in the state budget director.
How about that?
So again, it's the last Wednesday of the month, the 31st, from 8 to 9:30 at Lane Tree. For you chamber members, breakfast costs $15. If you're not a chamber member, we'd love to change that. And the cost for non-members is $25. You register ahead of time, so contact the chamber for more information.
Wow. That's good. That's going to be great. I love these legislative breakfasts.
I'm telling you what, I do too. And it's important to hear directly from your legislators, and the ongoing theme with every single one of these gentlemen is they want to hear from you.
That's true.
They're up in Raleigh representing you. They are your voice. Connect with them. They're extremely available.
Yeah.
They're extremely available. You can call their office in Raleigh and speak with their legislative assistants, or you can call their cell phones.
That's right.
And they want to hear from you. So does the chamber. If you've got some areas of concern, contact the chamber and let us help be a voice to kind of funnel that up.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Great.
Thank you.
Okay, what makes today special? And here's a couple of things for you. Today is Black Cat Appreciation Day.
We appreciate it.
I started to mention that yesterday, but I had to take it back. Black Cat Appreciation Day. Today is I Love My Feet Day.
Ew.
Yeah,
I mean, okay.
Oh, they're little stinkers.
Oh.
Anyway, today is also the meaning of is day. What is the meaning of is? We're not going there. National Medical Dosimetrist. National Medical Dosimetrist Day.
Okay, what does that mean?
I have no idea what a dosimetrist is.
We will Google that
but
in a
it's
little
your
bit.
day.
We appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you very much for being there.
Or whatever.
Right, for whatever. And lots of it to you there. Thrift Shop Day. Do you thrift shop?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you like going to thrift shops, secondhand stores and all that?
Yeah.
So do I.
It's fun.
It is
I like
fun.
yard sales, too.
Ah, yes. I need a yard, in fact, so I'm going to look for one. You be on the lookout for a nice yard I need for a yard sale.
You're a mess.
Okay. Okay. Here we go.
Okay,
ready?
what is it? I'm ready.
Our trivia question for today has to do with two artistes, one by the name of Peter Laird and the other by the name of Kevin Eastman.
Okay.
Kevin Eastman. Well, Laird and Eastman were artists. And they, as you can imagine, having vivid imaginations, used money from a tax refund and money that was borrowed from Eastman's uncle, and they created one of the most successful lines of entertainment series in many, many years. They created this. It's not a manufacturing process. There's something that's created. It's entertainment. And these two artists took money from a tax return and money borrowed from Eastman's uncle, and they created this that would eventually become movies, television,
Oh, wow.
product endorsements, all kinds of, gee whiz, video games, toys, tons of stuff. And it all started with these two artists.
Okay.
What was it?
I don't know.
I'll tell you in a
Stay
few
tuned
minutes.
and we'll find out.
Laird and Eastman are their names. Okay. We'll go back to the program. Our interview up next on Wayne Goldsboro Television.
Hello, I'm Scott Stevens, Goldsboro City Manager, here for our August monthly update. If folks weren't aware summer was here, I think the last couple weeks have shown us all that summer truly is here. Finally, at least as of this recording of this, the weather's a little better, but a few more weeks left in our summertime, and I hope you'll take full enjoyment. Kids getting ready to go back to school and those kinds of things. So again, enjoy time with family and the end of summer. Trash in the community and appearance of our community continues to be a focus of our mayor and city council. We all need to be doing our part to make Goldsboro a better and cleaner place. So again, if you'll do your part in front of your home or business where the city needs to step in, please call on us. We do have an Adopt a Street program. We'd be happy to work with you in a community project to clean up a park or some other area that you'd want to be involved in. But I do think we all have a role to play in making the community cleaner. Hurricane season, again, we're in the midst of it and really in the peak season for North Carolina. Advice is it runs through the end of November 30th, and the advice to residents is to be able to take care of yourselves for 3 days. Food, water, supplies, cash, radio, batteries, flashlights, first aid kits, and prescriptions. So, again, keep that in mind, that having a 3-day supply to look after you and your family of food and water and other necessities should a storm develop is very important. I think we'll have things restored prior to that, but that is the guidance. And again, in terms of water, it's a gallon per person per day. So probably the most important of all of those, to make sure if we have some kind of storm moving through that you're able to survive and be safe in your home for a period of time. Violence in the community, we've talked a lot about that in July. We have had 8 homicides. That's just not acceptable for a community our side. I've talked with Chief West a lot. We are working to make significant changes throughout the community. We have been and will continue. Some of the changes, we've revamped our vice squad. We're reinstituting a SWAT team. We've created a gang unit to just gather more information and be more proactive in that area. We've done more with technology. We've got our K-9 units back up to full speed. We're increasing recruitment efforts. We're still short on patrol officers in some other areas in the department, but we're making additional inroads into that in the areas of recruiting new officers to Goldsboro. We're doing a lot of community outreach. We've talked about community policing. We still have some work to do there, but we are trying to become better known in the community and develop those relationships so that people trust the police officers. And I think we have a good department and a lot of good officers, but developing trust and getting to know each other takes time, and we're working through that. We're also reaching out to other agencies. The Wayne County Sheriff's Department has been phenomenal in terms of assistance to the Goldsboro PD. We're also working with the ALE and other state and federal agencies in terms of reducing violent crime in Goldsboro. So again, a lot going on still. The homicides that have been out there this year, 1 is too many, 8 this time of year is well above our average, and certainly something we need to reverse. We know that somebody knows. Of the 8 this year, we have 5 that are yet to be a suspect charged. We know folks in the community know who's out there and who's done this. We would encourage you to call Crime Stoppers and to report that. It takes all of us to make the community better. Please do your part. You can do it through Crime Stoppers and be anonymous. It's area code 919-735-2255. Again, 919-735-2255. Or you can text it to us at 919-222-4230. Again, text is 919-222-4230. 4230. And again, a tip that leads to an arrest and conviction would grant you money. But the right thing to do is to help us solve these crimes. So please do your part in doing that. A couple other community things. Well Park, we have a pool. We have been trying to get that open all summer. We had some issues with the bathhouse related to the new W.A. Foster Center. We finally have gotten the pool open as of July 29th, so I would encourage you. We still have a month of summer left to go. I would encourage you to come out and enjoy Will Pool. If you haven't seen the new W.A. Foster Center, it'd give you a time to do both. And again, both of those are very nice facilities, so I would encourage you to do that. We did hear the results of Tiger Grant. Again, the city had applied for a Tiger Grant earlier in the spring. We were notified last week, or the last week of July, of the Tiger Grant. It's a $5 million grant from the federal government. It requires at a minimum a $1.3 million match from the city, and then we have budgeted a contingency amount that we do not expect to spend of another $500,000. So that would be in total a $1.8 million match to get a $5 million grant. And I've heard some say, it's tax money, we ought to do something else with it. The reality of this money, this $5 million from the federal government, was going to some community for these type of projects, and it can't be used for stormwater or street resurfacing maintenance-wise just by itself. So we can't redirect that money. It is specified for 4 projects in Goldsboro. Those projects are a continuation of the Center Street project, really from Spruce down to Elm, the last 2 blocks. Additional bus canopy at our bus transfers, or the GWTA bus transfer station. The Cornerstone Commons, basically enlargement and double it in size. It'll create a splash pad, it'll create public bathrooms, it'll create permanent shelter, then a permanent stage, and then it finishes or implements a wayfinding signage project that is throughout our MPO area in Wayne County, or our transportation area in Wayne County signage. So again, 4 distinct projects. The schedule, they all have to be under contract by September of 2019, so that's 3 years from now. Our intent will be, talking with City Council, would be to do 2 of them quicker, the Cornerstone Commons and the signage project sooner, and then delay the bus canopy and the Center Street project really until the summer of 2019 time frame. So more to come on that, but I do believe that's good news for Goldsboro. And folks ask me all the time, does it work? And we had said with the first Tiger round that yes, it would work. It does appear to work. The slide that we're showing here will show you results of the last 3 years in downtown Goldsboro. And for me, that final column that talks about investment, private investment, you can see in the last 2 years ago, we had a total of $1.4 million invested over a 2-year period of time of private investment. What we've seen in this last year, really since the project was about complete, is over $6 million in private investment, and today that trend is continuing. So at this point, I will tell you, the last Tiger Grant and the city's investment in downtown is returning significant dividends in terms of new investment, which should lead to increased tax revenue and increased business revenue for all businesses and the greater Goldsboro community. So I do believe that the investment is working and showing a return. Again, if you have any questions on that, please don't hesitate to call my office or our downtown development office, and we'd be happy to talk through the details of that with you. In terms of a few other projects that I haven't talked about in a little while, the Convention Center project, again, it is one that is a county project, but it's a partnership with Wayne County and the City of Goldsboro, and so we have stayed very involved in that. We did have a groundbreaking ceremony in July, or I say we, the county did. That project is well underway. If you haven't been out past Wayne Community College, I would encourage you to ride down Wayne Memorial and take a look. You won't miss the site, and I think as that building begins to come out of the ground, you will be very, very impressed with what we are building. And again, our hope there is not just to build an impressive building, but to build a facility that will bring outside visitors to this community that will support our business community and make us more prosperous. So it really is meant to spur our economy within Goldsboro and Wayne County. And I think you'll be very proud of the facility when it's open. Schedule-wise, we are hopeful for late 2017, early 2018. We're still on schedule for that, but a lot has to be done to make sure we have it. Berkeley Boulevard is a state DOT project. The city invested about $1.5 million in right-of-way utility relocation work in that project. We keep saying it's going to be done by the end of the summer. It is coming. I appreciate the community's patience. I know it has been a challenge out there for those that have to commute through that area, and particularly, I guess, with the 70 bypass opening, it probably has gotten worse and not better. We did have an issue with the utility conflict down around the stream just north of Ross and Old Navy. The DOT worked through with the utility provider. That work is ongoing to replace that culvert, but that was a significant part of the delay of that project. And again, it will be finished in the coming months. So again, a few more months of patience, and I think it'll be better. It won't solve all our traffic issues out in that area, but it will make it better. Again, so we'll recover that. We do have a future project to realign Central Capitol Heights and Royal Avenue intersection there at the railroad track, so it's not offset, which should help with traffic flow in that area as well. So more projects to come in future years, but the Berkeley Boulevard widening project should be completed in the coming months. Our multi-sports complex, we have talked an awful lot about that. We've worked with the lease and the Air Force. That has taken a period of time to get there. We have awarded the first part of that project, and that is to build a new security fence. So that did get awarded to Seeger's Fence Company here out of Goldsboro. They are under contract to finish that work. So again, the project is starting, and we'll have a groundbreaking as we get into more of the site work, where we then have a facility that is not behind the security fence. And again, work is beginning on that project, and so that's I think an exciting one for our community as well. And again, the premise there is field sports, whether it's football, lacrosse, soccer, ultimate frisbee, whatever might be developed that becomes I guess a trend or some group that activity that folks are interested in. The idea is to have a first-class facility here for our kids to use or our community to use, and then have a tournament use during the weekend. So basically, folks using it for tournaments help to pay for it through staying in their hotels, through supporting our businesses while they're here in town, and the tournament business is a big business for families. So again, more to come on that, but again, the intent is to have a first-class facility here for us with outsiders helping to foot most of the bill and paying for it. A couple other projects we have just started talking about with City Council, and a couple that they have approved. Duke Energy is moving from all of the existing street lights over to LEDs. LEDs are more energy efficient, provide better life in terms of bulbs not going out as often, and will be brighter. And the City Council did authorize funding in order to accelerate that project for Goldsboro. So by the end of this, well, say next 9 months, so by springtime, all of the street lights in Goldsboro should be the new LED lights, and they will all be a brighter light. So I hope that will be good news for most residents throughout the community. We consistently hear that there are parts of Goldsboro that are dark or not well lit. Oftentimes it's because a light is dimmed over time, or it's out and not working. And again, the bulbs that are out there today do require replacement and burn out much more often than the LED bulbs will. So again, we're looking forward to that project, and I thank the Mayor and Council for appropriating funding so we can accelerate that. We are talking about a stormwater stakeholder group. We've talked a number of times with the Mayor and Council about that over the last 6 months, most recently in July and August council meetings. The council has not said that they will do a stormwater utility, but the first step is to get a stakeholder group of residents, of business owners, of county, of housing authority, of churches, and to talk through what that means. And so if you have an interest in being on that stakeholder group, please contact my office, 580-4330. We will work to at least add your name to be considered for that list. But our intent is to have a good cross-section of the community to, one, help people understand the stormwater issue here in Goldsboro, and then two, help what it means on a funding side. And ultimately, if the council were to adopt something, we're probably talking for a residential home anywhere from $3 to $5 per month, and that money then would go directly towards fixing our drainage systems issues that exist throughout Goldsboro. So more to come on that. The council has not approved it other than to move to the next step of having a stakeholder committee and talking through that process. We've made significant changes in our environmental services and our garbage pickup. We have moved, gone out and curbside collection is something that happened 20-some years ago. We have some residents who, for whatever reason, medically or otherwise, cannot bring their trash containers to the street. If you happen to be one of those, please contact us. We do offer a side yard service where we will come at no charge to those that have a medical condition that doesn't allow them to move the container to the street to pick it up for you. We have gone through that list again this year, and we have some capacity to offer an additional service to community members that would want it. And what we've talked about with the Mayor and Council is us offering a side yard service where we would come into your side yard and pick it up at an additional fee. And that additional fee is significant. It's another $20 a month. But I think beginning September, October, if you have an interest in paying for the city to come into your side yard and pick up trash, you just don't want to do it, you'd rather pay us to do it, then for an additional $20 a month, we would be willing to do that. And so more information coming to you on that. It does not affect our current medical exempt residents who physically can't move the container to the street. We will continue to do that for them at no charge, but it would be something we could offer to other residents who don't want to be bothered with that and would rather pay us to do that. So more information to come, but I think we'll begin offering that service in the September-October timeframe. And then lastly, I'd like to talk about just the BLET scholarship, basic law enforcement training. We have had vacancies in our police department for the past year, and we're looking for different ways in recruitment and filling. One of those has been a BLET scholarship. We have just awarded our first 2 scholarships. Our priority goes to city residents, so if you're a city resident, you move to the front of the line. This last round we have 5 applicants. We've awarded 2 scholarships. We feel really good about the applicants going in. They're not city residents, but they still will be, we hope and believe, good officers for us in 6 months. We're paying the cost of the BLET programs, and they're going to Wayne Community College. We're also giving them a $1,000 a month stipend while they attend class, and at the end of that they have to have a 3-year commitment to work with our police department, for, like I said, for a 3-year time frame once they complete BLET. So again, if you know of somebody that would like to be a police officer, hadn't figured out how to get there, they've got to get through BLET. They have to be, I believe, at least 20 years old. And again, contact our Human Resources office, or you can contact Wayne Community College. Either one can help you with the process, and we'll take applications again for the winter or spring BLET program as well. I guess finally I'd wrap up with a few activities in the community. There always seems to be plenty to do if you're looking for it. Center Street Jams, they've been running all summer. The last 2 are August 11th and August 25th, so I would encourage you to come out. They're 6 o'clock Thursday evenings, again August 11th and August 25th. The events have been very well attended, and I think those that come do enjoy them, and I would encourage you to do that. They're in the John Street parking lot next to pretty close to City Hall in downtown, and again August 11th and 25th are the last 2 for this year. We've got Beak Week coming up September 5th through the 10th. The 10th we'll have a festival that Saturday, again in downtown, right at City Hall. But the week-long event consists of a wing-eating contest, a softball tournament, a bike ride, a scavenger hunt, cornhole tournament, and then the festival on September 10th. So do make plans to be part of that, and celebrate at least our agricultural and poultry heritage here in Goldsboro and Wayne County. And then finally, Parks and Recreation continues to have activities published on their website or printed in brochures. If you need information on that, please don't hesitate to call my office or call Parks and Rec at Herman Park Center, or go by there. But there's activities for kids, seniors, and young adults and adults. So there's a lot of activity for all. And included in that is the council did award a pickleball court renovation. We'll move it out to the Goldsboro Event Center. We're going to convert 3 tennis courts out there into 8 pickleball courts. $20,000 budgeted from the county, $20,000 raised from the community. I do want to thank those that are involved in pickleball and that growing sport. It started with those over 50, but it really has moved into younger people being interested in it. And if you don't know about pickleball, I would encourage you to take a look. It's a different racket and ball sport, but it proves to be pretty fun and entertaining as well. So with that, we're always here to serve. If you have questions, again, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. We'll do whatever we can to help you through your issue. And again, we enjoy what we do. Thank you.
We're back on Wayne Goldsboro Television. Thank you for being with us. A quick reminder that this program airs every day, Monday through Friday at 7 a.m.
Yes.
And then that show repeats at noon, and then that show repeats at 5:30 p.m. Okay? If you are part of Go Wayne Go, you know the good that it's doing you. If you're not familiar with Go Wayne Go, you can go online to gowaynego.org and find out more about it. But what it is, in a nutshell, is it helps you get healthy through nothing more than just walking.
That's right.
You walk. Walk is the best, easiest, less impactful kind of exercise you can do. At least kind. Because some people have problems with running. It hurts their legs, hurts their knees, hurts their ankles. Some people have problems with that. If you walk, you're not going to have that problem. If you walk long enough and over a period of time, you will actually begin to feel the benefits of walking.
That's right.
It is so healthy for you. So healthy. The next Go Wayne Go event will be on the tomorrow. Tomorrow in Pikeville.
Tomorrow.
On the tomorrow.
In Pikeville.
In Pikeville, North Carolina, USA, Earth. Tomorrow in Pikeville at Dee's Park Wall. Dee's Park Walk. Dee's Park Walk. That will be everybody meeting at the Railroad Street and Mill, at the intersection there, Railroad Street and Mill Street, and then you go from there. And if you have any questions about that, you can go online to gowaynego.org. Find out more about it.
All about getting moving.
All
and
about
you can
getting
do this on your own pace, whatever your ability is. It's whatever works for you. Just get moving.
Exactly right.
Great initiative.
Exactly right. Yeah.
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 Let's see now. We have blood tomorrow at Lowe's of Goldsboro. Blood drive. Red Cross Blood Mobile will be at Lowe's of Goldsboro tomorrow on Berkeley Boulevard. Berkeley Boulevard at 10:30 tomorrow morning. And then at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning, another blood drive starts up at Berkeley Mall on Berkeley Boulevard. Right? Right. On Berkeley. And then in Mount Olive, at the Town Depot at 1:30 tomorrow afternoon. So there's 3 blood drives tomorrow. Woo,
You've got plenty of opportunities. And the Town Depot, that is a neat little spot.
It is.
I love that building.
It is a neat little old building there. Very
neat
nice.
Spot.
Very neat. Our trivia question for today. Yeah, Peter Laird and Kevin Eastman, the 2 guys. Look at that. They printed that book upside down. Can you believe that? Oh, yeah. Peter Laird and Kevin Eastman, using money from a tax return and a loan from Eastman's uncle, created this series of entertainment that turned into big movies, big TV, big toys, big games, video games, big everything. And it's still very popular. And the answer to that, Laird and Eastman created Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Stop.
They did. I love those guys. Hey, Raphael, Leonardo, hey, all these guys.
That's a good trivia question.
Thank you.
That was good. That was good.
Who came up with it? Well, a guy named Peter and Kevin. Another guy named Kevin.
Neat.
And Peter and Kevin put all this together and borrowed money to make it work.
And it worked, huh?
And it worked. They are really rich now. Really. Paramount Theater's season, the Performing Arts series, is to be underway very soon. November the 2-2. Well, no, let's start with October.
So yeah, October comes
That's
before
good.
November.
I heard about that. They did that, didn't they? Nina Freeland's going to be there October 7th with singing. She's
phenomenal.
Extremely talented. Yeah.
She is extremely talented.
For a little bit of mountain music, some easy listening.
Yes.
Got your dobro, got your double bass, got your guitar, and got your git fiddle. Right here on October 8th at 7:30 p.m. Caribou Mountain Collective. Parsons Dance will be performing on the 28th of October. November, of course, November the 22nd will be the North Carolina Symphony in town for their Holiday Pops concert, which is always successful, big hit. Tim Meadows from Saturday Night Live will be in town and performing on January the 27th, beginning at 7:30 p.m. Malpas Brothers will be at the Paramount on January 29th at 3 p.m. But you know, you want to see the Malpas Brothers, you want to see them at the Center Street Jam that's coming up on the 25th of August. The 25th, they'll be at Center Street Jam. They were rained out earlier in the year, I believe it was sometime around April, early May. They were rained out of Center Street Jam. And so this is kind of a makeup date, but they very generously said, sure, we'll do that. And they did. They're going to do it on the 25th. 2 great guys.
That's right. That's right. So that's local talent that has gotten national recognition. And also Caribou Mountain Collective. Miles Perry is one of the band members. Miles Perry is the son of David and Bethany Perry.
Oh, he's in that group?
He is. So they have gotten a lot of recognition as well outside of the walls of Wayne County. They've gotten some national recognition as well. So it's really neat when you can bring such talent back home, so to speak, such as the Malpas Brothers, Caribou. There's a lot of talent that comes out of this community.
Oh, no question about that.
Absolutely
so
incredible.
So is this David and Bethany Perry of Goldsboro
Builders
Supply?
Yes.
As opposed to the David and Bethany Perry that are not with Goldsboro Builders Supply, the other Perry family.
Yeah, isn't that wild? Isn't that wild?
Wild.
So, you know, I've asked this. I've been in Goldsboro for 11 years now, and I've run into so many talented people, and I'm like, what did y'all eat when y'all were little? There is so much talent.
Yeah.
You look at Stage Struck and Center Stage Theater and all these, dance studios around and vocal, it really is incredible. There's something in the water here. But I will share with you, this flyer is from the Paramount Theater. If you do not currently receive mailings from them, you can contact the Paramount, get on their mailing list so that you don't miss anything. They've got movie nights that they do throughout the year where they do a Casablanca, E.T., they're doing just...
Spaceballs.
Yes, a lot of stuff.
Indiana Jones.
It's so fun.
Movie night is $5.
Yeah. I mean, what?
$5.
$5. We went, speaking of Bethany Perry, last year at Christmas time, there was a group of ladies that went and saw It's a Wonderful Life.
Oh, yeah.
And it was incredible. It was awesome. We've seen that movie many a time, but it's a different experience when you're at the Paramount Theater.
That's very true. Anyway, that's Paramount Theater, a tremendous amount of fun. We're very fortunate to have the Paramount with us here. It's a beautiful place. Peggy Seeger, Senior Center Director Paula Edwards announced last week that Senior Center Information and Options Counselor Lisa Barker received recognition for her outstanding service to Medicare beneficiaries in the southeastern area of North Carolina. She was recognized as the Southeast Coordinator of the Year. Woohoo! Yay!
Well-deserved recognition.
Yes, indeed. Very well-deserved. She works very hard. She's very passionate about helping people with their Medicare quest.
Yes.
Yes, there you go. The Lisa Barker. Good. Okay, and gee, that's about it for today, I'm afraid. That's it.
Do it again tomorrow.
We'll do it again tomorrow. Tomorrow being Thursday is what I was going to say. Thursday, we'll be here about 7 o'clock, and then the show repeats at noon, then the show re-repeats at 5:30 p.m. Have yourself a fine day. If you happen to be driving across the county or across the country, please wear your seatbelt. Please wear your seatbelt. It does make a difference. So until tomorrow, I'm Wayne Alley.
And I'm Kate Daniels.
And this is Wayne Goldsboro Television.